What you're looking at right now is an image made in a new style that I developed over the last few weeks and that I'm going to use on my picture book dummy. How did I do this? Well, I'm going to show you how I did it so you can do it yourself. My name is Javi and I can draw, and this is how to develop your own style. Now, developing an art style is not easy. I remember when I was a kid that I was trying to emulate the artists that I liked so I could understand what made them so cool. But I did this without having any formation, and eventually from practicing a lot, my own style came to be. Now, I like this style. I feel very comfortable in it, and I can try like one or two variations of it with more line work or less line work. But in the end, I found that this comfort that I have while drawing this style is also what makes it so unimpressive. I take no risks at all. With the internet right now, we have this amazing chance to be open to the world and be able to find clients all over the planet. This is a great thing, but at the same time, this means that we are competing with all of the illustrators in the world to get these clients. In a world where a client can choose anyone all over the world to be their illustrator, comfortable and unimpressive just won't cut it. I need to be a little bit bolder. Now, before we begin, I must tell you that I've been doing all these drawings in just 2 weeks, and 2 weeks to actually develop a new style is not the time that you should take to do so. Eventually, as I progress with the picture book, I know that my style is going to develop itself a little bit more. And my whole "this should be bolder" statement that I just make is not totally reflecting on the artwork that I've done these few weeks, but I know that it's going to evolve into something more bolder and more fun as I progress. Now, this particular style that I developed has a purpose, and that is to fit or play nice with what editors and art directors want of their artists when they're choosing artists for picture books. As far as I can tell, this is pretty much what they want. They want art to look less digital and more traditional, more unique, less Disney-like or commercial-like, and they want the compositions to be fun and imaginative and easy to read. More importantly, they have to be fun. So knowing that, I started to research some artists that I know that I love and that they have exactly what art directors look for, and that, you know, it's not just trying to ape them, but I really love what they do and I want to figure out what they do so good that I admire them and that it works on a professional level. So for this, I needed to do some research and get my knowledge right. Links to all the artists that I'm going to mention today are going to be in the notes for this video. There will also be a link to a Pinterest board where you can find even more images and more artists and more things that I think that you might find interesting. So after grouping all these images in Pinterest, I tried to individually try to see what I liked about these images, like what was the most prominent thing that I liked about it, and I tried to group them. So once I had the images all grouped, I had my mood board. What is a mood board? Well, a mood board is a collection of images and concepts that you group together when you're trying to form an idea. For example, if you're trying to do like a comic book or a series of artwork about like a post-apocalyptic future in the desert, you're going to look at a lot of images like movies like Mad Max, or maybe illustrators like Frank Frazetta or Mobius, or like you're going to like take a lot of pictures of Arab people and pictures of the desert so you can get a mood. Exactly, like you want to get a feeling of what you're looking for. Since what I was looking for was style, I chose artists whose style I liked. They didn't have to have a similar style or even be alive at the same time or anything. It's just artists that I like, and I want to find out what I like about them. There are artists like Dai Tsutsumi and Rebecca Dautermer and Juanjo Garnido, and their styles have nothing to do with each other, but they're just really good and I want to know what I like about them. So once I finished ordering up my images, I realized that I had 8 distinct factors that I cared about. Let me show you. Here I have color, I have palette, I have the way they deal with volume, I have texture, architecture and landscape, line or brush stroke, depends on the artist actually, light, and perspective. God, I really like these artists. After analyzing this, I took some notes on what I wanted to bring to my art style from them. And well, I'm going to read to you. First of all, what I want to change is to look more traditional and less digital. You know, use the pencil brush, some paper texture to it. Then I realized that silhouette and shape prevail over volume and three-dimensionality. That means that I usually try to be too strict with perspective and volume and camera angles and that stuff, and maybe I should just not consider them too much as too important when the most important thing is a fun composition maybe. Also, that the more further away an element is from the composition, the more suggestive through texture and maybe just a few lines it can become. This sounds obvious, but you know, you have to learn to do it in a stylish way as well. Also, I should not use line work on everything, and most of the times I should be pretty subtle about it. I realize that I like weird perspectives and camera angles, and they don't have to necessarily obey regular perspective rules when I'm working on them. Again, focus on composition and, you know, focus on the silhouette of the characters versus their respecting their volumes. It has to have a good read, and if I have to sacrifice perspective rules or volume rules in order to have a better composition, that's what I think I have to do. I also understood that the light should always be interesting and should be used to give depth. That means that I just can't have like this noon light from above and just have that be it. It has to be something more playful, more interesting. And also the final thing is that, you know, if I'm going to be drawing something like details like trees or foliage, like I just should go crazy with it, not just try to use it as filler, but try to be fun with it. Now with this list, and it's not an easy to achieve list, it was time to start sketching. So I started to sketch to see what I could learn. If you want to take a better look at the sketches, remember to follow me on Instagram at JaviCanDraw. There you can take a paused, long look at the sketches that I did. Now let me show you what I found out. What I was trying to do was to find out how far I could push this silhouette versus volume thing that I'm facing. And I found out that something that I was having a lot of fun doing was just blending lines. For example, let me show you what I mean, because I eventually landed on this sketch that I liked a lot. If you see the line that goes from the inside of the elbow to the neck, it's just one big flowy line. Instead of going crazy with the creases and volumes, I decided to let go of all of that and just be more playful. I realized that, well, sometimes I concentrate so much in what is right to do when you draw, that to get the drawing right, that I forget to have fun with it, and that, you know, there are certain rules that you can bend while drawing. I constantly forget about that. I get too, like, technical, and eventually that's what makes everything just a bit boring, because it is constrained, and I don't want to do that anymore. Now I wanted to try some color on this sketch. Because I didn't want to rely so much on the lines, I tried different versions, ones where color took a lot more prominence over the line, and where, you know, where a lot more contrast was looked for, to see what happened if I could just bring things forwards and back, just establishing very strong contrasts. But in the end I wanted to restrain myself from using too much color all the time. From the illustrations that I liked, that I grouped, I realized that, you know, very saturated color was used very carefully. And then most of the time everything else is just a bit more muted. So you can use this saturated colors to bring prominence to parts of the image. You know, it's part of composition. So, you know, I don't want to rely so much in color when I could be using color for very specific things. I felt really happy with this sketch. So I wanted to try this on something more complex and learn where I had to adapt a bit more. I knew that it was going to take me more than a few tries to get this right, but I still did it anyway. Now, the image that I had in my head was just a girl waiting on a bus stop for some reason. Now, this was my first sketch. It is boring. It is not bold. It is not fun. It's like I was restraining myself again. So I started again with rounder shapes on the girl, and I tried to go as bold and as fun as I could. Now take a look at this. Now it is a lot better, right? And it's not just the color, but it's, you know, the fun of the shapes and how playful the foliage is. I was very happy with the light as well. But the next day I woke up and I thought, I can go crazier. Bolder, more plants. The bus stop, it doesn't have to be just a boring bus stop. It can be like, you know, have a more interesting shape. And the girl could be rounder, like more focus on the silhouette, more focus on having fun with the shapes. So I finally did this. Ta-da! Now this looks like a whole new thing. It looks like nothing that I've ever done before. I like the girl a lot more, I like the shape of the bus stop, I went a little bit crazier with the plants. Everything is a little bit more rounder, but it's a lot more interesting as well. I wish I could have gotten a little bit more rhythmic with the plants, because right now they seem pretty much random, and I could have gone some, you know, some music to it. Now check out this comparison, check out the first girl that I started with and check out the last one. Isn't the last one a lot more fun? Can you see how looser my hand got? That's what I wanted to achieve. Is there anything that you think that I did wrong? Is there anything that you would like you would have done differently? Is there anything that you think that I should change? Just let me know in the comments, okay? Because I love to hear your thoughts. I know that this is a very weird and personal process, but at the same time, I like to hear your ideas. So research, done. Sketching, done. Now, let's face the fear. Now, the story that I'm about to tell on the book came from this image that I had in my head. Somewhere deep in the forest, there is a centaur surrounded by kids, and the centaur is showing the kids some kind of magic. And in the background, there is this monster jealous of the centaur and the kids, and it's just looking there very ominously. Since that is the first image that I had that doesn't belong anywhere in the story of the book, I thought that it was a good idea to try my new style on. I really like how this image looks, but then again, I could have gone bolder, I could have gone crazier, more playful. I see where I restrain myself. Like the center it looks nice, but it should be looking amazing, like this magical creature. And the forest could have more life to it. There's a lot of things that I could have done to go crazy with this, but well, that is the thing. I have to evolve with it, and I have to practice and get it exactly right, where I want to go crazy, where I want to restrain myself, and all those things, you know, because well, it's not easy to develop a new style, and for most people it takes years. So the fact that I'm trying to do this in just a few weeks, of course the results are not going to be perfect. But I know that as I progress on the book, I'm going to solve most of these things, and hopefully by the time I'm done, like my style should be like crazy fun. That's what I'm looking for. So that's it. One more step towards finishing the book, and one thing to cross off my list. If you want to see an extended version of this time-lapse with a voiceover from me going through every step of the way, remember to check out my Patreon. Also there you can get access to annotated sketches, notes of this final image, original files of everything that I just shown you. Just click on the link below and go there. Also on the description of this video you will find links to other videos that I've done that I think that are relevant to this. If you don't find anything, it's because, well, there's nothing relevant that I've done before. If you want to see more of the learning experience and see more material like this, remember to follow me on all of the social media. I am Javi Draw everywhere. Or if you want to see all my media presence put all together in one place, remember to go to javicandraw.com. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're new, click that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're new, then welcome. Click the subscribe button so you can get notified when new videos come out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Javi Draw, and I'm sure that you can draw too. Bye!